Hi there, Ben Mankiewicz with you on TCM for the last night of our week-long Bugs Bunny extravaganza. Bugs is February's star of the month. We began tonight with animation maestro Chuck Jones's Hunting trilogy, 3 stories of Bugs, Elmer Fudd, and Daffy Duck. Up next, a trio of shorts with just Bugs and Daffy leading the way. Although he's never allowed to outwit our hero, Daffy is probably Bugs's most savvy nemesis. As I mentioned earlier tonight, Daffy made his debut in the 1937 black and white short Porky's Duck Hunt, though he wasn't given the name Daffy until his second appearance, Daffy Duck and Egghead, released the following year in color. Daffy's animator, Bob Clampett, was, according to animation historian Steve Schneider, Warner's most passionate advocate of unmotivated lunacy. Clampett put the duck in zany situations like chasing a terrified Porky around a hospital so he could operate on him using a handsaw without anesthesia. That's not cool. In case you don't know, that horrific storyline was not intended for children. These cartoons were created for adults, not Saturday morning entertainment for kids. Their original purpose was to play in theaters at the start of Warner Brothers Pictures. Anyway, by the time Daffy started co-starring with Bugs in the early 1950s, his character had outgrown his daffiness and become shrewder, possessing a gift for wordplay, thanks largely to director Chuck Jones. Jones is responsible for Daffy's most recognizable trait, self-interest, which, as you're about to see, can pretty regularly lead to self-destruction. We have 3 examples coming up. From 1957, Alibaba Bunny and Showbiz Bugs, and from 1961, The Abominable Snow Rabbit. In the first and last films, both of those directed by Jones, Bugs and Daffy are vacationing together, tunneling to Southern California hotspots, and as usual, Bugs fails to take that left turn at Albuquerque. In Alibaba Bunny, they wind up in an Arabian cave of treasures. In The Abominable Snow Rabbit, they run into a massive duck-obsessed snowman in the Himalayas. Between those 2 gems, we've got director Friz Freeling's Showbiz Bugs, where Daffy desperately tries to compete with Bugs during their 2-man vaudeville show, delivering a performance to die for. Here they are. Showbiz Bugs and The Abominable Snow Rabbit will follow our first short, Alibaba Bunny. Bugs and Daffy had come a long way as Looney Tunes characters by the time they appeared in the 3 shorts you just saw in the late 1950s and early 60s. Daffy came first in 1937, with Bugs following 3 years later. Both started out pretty wacky. Both had multiple creators, the animators turned directors who built the Warner Brothers animation empire, Tex Avery, Chuck Jones, Friz Freeling, Bob Clampett, and Robert McKimson, among others. Their frenemy dynamic was firmly established by the end of the 1950s. According to comic book writer Mark Evanier, the comedy in Showbiz Bugs worked so well that when Freeling and Jones were putting together the Bugs Bunny show for television in the 1960s, Showbiz Bugs provided the template and theme, with Bugs as the star and Daffy repeatedly thwarted in his attempts to grab the spotlight. Coming up, we head to Southern California with a group of college kids led by Troy Donahue and Connie Stevens. Palm Springs Weekend is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Palm Springs Weekend. Then Once Upon a Time with Bugs Bunny. And later, Jack and the Beanstalk. TCM spills the beans tonight.